The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Good morning. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We got a big day for you on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I mean, we got a big boy press conference coming with Joe Biden. Are you excited? That's going to be 4:30 our time. I know Murphy's handling afternoon duties today, so I know he's going to be all over that. We'll have reaction and coverage for that tomorrow as well.
Yeah, he's going to play it in its entirety, Brother Murphy says. Ooh. The big boy press conference.
Well, one of my favorite things that Murphy does when he plays these press conferences is he essentially Mystery Science Theater 3000s the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the best. So, yeah, if you're going to listen to the big boy press conference, that's the way to do it.
Absolutely.
With Murphy in your ear going, no, that's not right. That's
Instant
what you need.
Analysis.
That's what you need.
It's like he's here in the room with us.
I can't
that was
wait.
Crazy.
I can't wait. Also today, there's going to be a vote for inherent contempt for Merrick Garland. That should be happening 13 minutes from now.
Yeah.
13 minutes from now. Anna Paulina Luna has been pushing this. It's because they won't give up the her tapes. They won't give them up. And they're going to have a vote today, and it could be a $10,000 fine each day he declines to turn over that audio from President Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur. If you remember, the interview was when Biden was talking about the classified documents, but he's too old, too forgetful, and too sympathetic, so they can't charge him. You remember that. Well, everybody's pissed. We want the tapes. We want to hear the tapes. We want to see the tapes. Democrats are saying, no, you can't have them. The right is just going to use them against President Biden and put them in ads. Well, isn't this exactly why we need to hear it? Isn't it exactly why we need to hear the tapes? We want to know how bad this guy is. Well, we know how bad he is, but we want the rest of the world to know how bad he is. And we want another one of those rip the Band-Aid off moments for the left where they realize that their guy is suffering from something. Dementia, Parkinson's. I mean, the White House came out yesterday and admitted that Joe Biden met with that Parkinson's specialist at the White House. So we want to see these tapes. Again, Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, she's forcing that vote. It's going to happen in 11-ish minutes, and it could essentially fine Merrick Garland $10,000 each day that he declines to turn over the audio from President Biden's interview. And I think this is going to be good. A lot of people seem pretty confident that this is going to go through. Proponents of the bill are feeling confident that this is going to pass. And they should feel confident. I mean, things are passing. Yesterday, they passed the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act, meaning you need to prove that you're a U.S. citizen when you register to vote. It passed the House. It's not going to pass the Senate. Biden said he's going to veto it if it does. It's not going to go any further. But Democrats are on record saying that they want illegal aliens to vote in this election. And they'll say, it doesn't do anything. It's already illegal to vote. Well, then just pass the bill. Let's concrete that. If you're not worried, Hakeem Jeffries had all the things to say about this bill. It's racist. It's xenophobic. How could we do this? And he said that yesterday on the House floor.
Only citizens can vote for the United States Senate. Only citizens can vote for the presidency of the United States. So this extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression bill is not designed to solve any problem on behalf of the American people. It is designed to jam people up and prevent Americans from voting.
It's weird that they don't have the same energy for anything else you need an ID for anything else that you need proof of citizenship for. They have no problems with that. No problems. But when it comes to this, it's racist. It's xenophobic. How could you do that? And that's what the Dems are saying. They're pissed that this even passed. Voter identification rules are just like Civil War racist exclusion laws. So that's what Democrats say. That's what they said on the House floor as they denounced the SAVE Act bill. Rep. Jennifer McClain out of Virginia said, "This is the 2024 version of Jim Crow poll tax, and we should vote against it." Yep, this is Jim Crow. Here's the thing. We have so many illegal aliens coming from so many countries that there is nothing inherently racist about it. It just wants you to prove that you're a U.S. citizen if you're going to register to vote. That shouldn't be too hard, but it is. And the Democrats are absolutely losing their minds over it.
This bill is essentially a poll tax because I am not aware of a single proof of citizenship document that does not cost an individual money to get it.
And that's a lie. There's so many ways to get your IDs for free. So many. A majority of states have ways to help you get an ID for free.
Unless we are requiring every state to provide one for free, and then it's an unfunded mandate.
That already happens. There's already measures in place to take care of that.
I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
No, it's not an act. You're getting good at Mason's getting good at the hotkeys.
It's a learned talent, but I think I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, you nailed that one. You nailed that one. But the existence of many illegal aliens in U.S. cities is helping Democrats build an emergency reserve of ballots via fraudulent registrations. That's what the GOP is saying. Those illegal ballots can later be smuggled into ballot boxes via mail-in voting, drop-off boxes, and even by illegal migrants who personally cast votes in low-security jurisdictions. That's from William Geen, founder of Alapac Movement for Tighter Border Security. He told Breitbart News, what will happen is that people, Democrat operatives, will be dispatched through unions, non-government organizations, Democrat Party auxiliaries, private contracting firms, and probably even the smuggling gangs themselves. And they're all going to be giving marching orders and lists and directives on how to go on about this ballot creation campaign. He says, I think they're going to try to deliver many of them through the mail. They realize that sending the illegals directly into the poll stations on Election Day is more likely to get them caught or be observed by pesky Republican poll watchers. So vote by mail is going to be the safest way for them to do this. And since 2021, Biden's deputies have imported millions of illegal aliens. And many of those illegal aliens are now being sheltered, fed, taken care of by federally funded nonprofit groups in cities where these Democrat politicians, they control the registration and the voting rules, and they also control the police force that choose not to enforce voting laws. They run everything. They run everything. Geen William went on to say they're going to sit the migrants down and say Joe Biden says it's okay, Obama says it's okay, and if you don't want to get deported, you need to do this. And that messaging is going to be effective for the liberals. That messaging will be effective for the left. Make no mistake about it. Because Donald Trump is out there every single day saying, we are going to send you home. We're going to send you home. So they don't like the SAVE Act. And a Biden veto of the SAVE Act is going to be either a Biden veto or the Senate not passing it is going to be an admission that Democrats are counting on illegal alien voters this year. 100%. So the Democrats are going to fight tooth and nail, and they're going to try to preserve their stockpile of illegal votes, William Geen adds. And he says Republicans want to throw up barriers. Rep. Summer Lee, a Democrat out of Pennsylvania, said Republicans only want to throw up barriers because when people vote, they lose. That's what she said. This is a Jim Crow poll tax. This is a xenophobic attack.
Hypotheticals. It is under attack right now, right here with this very bill. Republicans want to throw up barriers because when people vote, they lose. Let me be clear. They don't want you to vote. They don't want to hear black voices, brown voices, LGBTQIA voices, young voices. Our fundamental access to our democracy is being politicized.
I love it. She says they don't want to hear black voices. They don't want to hear LGBTQI voices. Like, guys, we want to hear American citizens' voices. Do you not understand? Spoiler alert, they don't.
And this xenophobic attack that we're debating today will make it harder for Americans to vote.
It won't. It won't. It won't. This is the bigotry of low expectations. Oh, if you happen to be Hispanic in America or Black in America, you can't possibly get an ID.
Republican colleagues will...
If there's any Black or Hispanic Americans out there that don't have an ID, call in right now, 615-737-9986. You're not going to call because you're not out there. Spoiler alert.
Harder for Americans to vote. My Republican colleagues will claim that requiring IDs is a small ask, but nearly 30 million people lack a valid driver's license, and about 15 to 18 million adults don't have access to documents proving their birth or citizenship. Americans don't need more obstacles. It's already hard enough.
Is it already hard enough? Is this an obstacle that people can't overcome? I'm of the opinion I think it should be much harder to vote. I think that obstacles are a good thing. Bring in people that really want to do it. And this is not an obstacle. Make no mistake about it. This is not an obstacle. But the Democrats will cry. And they'll be upset. Because they're worried about losing. That's really where this all comes from. They're worried about losing. And I think that they're looking at these ballots for illegal aliens and they think that might be their ticket to winning. And maybe it will be. Maybe it won't. But we can all agree that by Democrats pushing back against this, they have ulterior motives. And it's not because, Black Americans can't find an ID. It's not because, Hispanic Americans, they don't know how to find IDs. That's what they'll say. She said they don't want to hear Black voices, brown voices, LGBTQIA voices, young voices. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Look at the Republican Party today. Byron Donalds, Vivek Ramaswamy. These voices are there. These voices are there. They're in our party. Not the left's. No, they're fleeing the left. And this is another reason why they're scared. Young voters are fleeing the Democrats and flocking to the Republican Party, according to a new poll. The Pew poll found this. Young Americans are flocking to the Republican Party. 47% of respondents to the poll, Newsweek reports, were either Republican or leaned in that direction. A new poll saying that young people appear to be flocking to the Republican Party. The National Public Opinion Reference Survey published on Tuesday confirmed that for those Americans under 30, the GOP is the party of choice. Yep, weird. Jason in Goodlettsville, do you have a hard time finding an ID?
I do not, and I just wanted to make a comment that speaker that was speaking just a second ago had said that most people don't have a driver's license, but they're required to have a state ID in most states, from what I know.
Yeah, that was Rep. Summer Lee out of Pennsylvania, and you're absolutely right. Appreciate the call, Jason. Let's go to Scott in Nashville on IDs. What's up, Scott?
Hey, not much. Just worked with marginal people that were in the Nashville area, and it is true that a lot don't have IDs because their families don't have their birth certificates. Worked with people up into their 30s that have never, ever had IDs. But it's a very low amount of numbers, but it's not that they can't get them. It's just they've never had that ability because they never had their, to go through all that stuff. But I just want to make that comment.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't a mountain to overcome. Like, this is something
Correct.
that they can get done.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you want to vote in a presidential election, do you think you should have to prove you're a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what this is about. If you can't find your birth certificate, find it, and then you can register to vote. I feel like that's pretty easy.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yep. Hey,
and I'm a what do you call it? I'm a green card holder. I can't vote, but it's not that hard to get IDs. Never, even when I came here. So.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Steven in Paris, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Chris. Hey, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is wild, man. This is like the most important thing of our whole of what our country's all about. Because even if we got millions of illegal people from all over the world coming in this country. It's still we, the people within this country, that have the power to be able to vote with our voting system to say, no, you have to go, which is what is hopefully about to take place. When we lose that power, when we lose our power to be able to come together as a country and vote to say, no, we don't want this, or no, this is bad, or get these people out of this office, or get these people out of our country. They don't belong here. They need to come in the legal way. If we lose, the ability to vote, it's over. So that is one of the most important factors of our nation, of our freedom, of the free world, is that ability. So these people that are rising up against this and trying to attack this is almost the worst thing that could happen to us. I just want to say real quick, no two people have the exact same thumbprint or fingerprint. So this is a real easy fix as far as when we go in to vote. Usually we check mark a box, or we sign a piece of paper, or we sign our name on something, and then we get our ticket and we go cast our ballots. Well, even if you're at home and we send you something in the mail, you can still dab your thumbprint on a little ink blot, and then in an empty box next to it, put your thumbprint down there. So I think fingerprints and thumbprints should be like, it's just something that has to be, because at least that way they can catch people that are trying to copy votes, or they can catch the ones that are actually not legal and not able to vote, and catch them and hopefully stop them from being able to vote. So
yeah, no, I don't hate the idea, Steve, and I appreciate the call. It's 923 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got a crash in Rutherford County. It's 24 westbound in Christiana, just past Epps Mill Road there. Got an inflation report to go over with you. New election 2024 polling and former President Trump coming to Nashville at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Trump's coming to Nashville?
Coming to Nashville.
For like a rally?
Nah, not really.
Oh.
Not really a rally.
Okay. I'm going to be paying attention. My kids, they've been upset with me ever since I went to Detroit to see Trump. And they're like, when do they
get to go?
Yeah, when do we get to go?
Yeah.
So my ears perked up when I heard that, but I'm gonna tell them Ken said you can't go. Weaver said it's not for you.
It's not really a rally.
Sorry, guys.
But you know Trump will turn it into a rally.
He always does. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've been talking about the SAVE Act. Democrats don't want anybody to have to prove they're a U.S. citizen to vote. Classic leftists. Carl in the borough has a comment on IDs. What's up, Carl?
Well, hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call. I just want to say a previous caller called. He's not got a green card.
Yes,
and
sir.
I applaud him for that because obviously he's not from here.
Yep.
And I think he's on the right route, and I think we all need to praise that. And
Amen.
I just want to say from history, it's just the gall that the Democrats, the originator of all the race baiting and everything, is now using that against us. They're clever. And I want to ask you this. What 30-year-old has a miserable life without an ID? Society has said you need an ID to buy alcohol, cigarettes, buy a lottery ticket or whatever.
Yep.
But on the other hand, why would a 30-year-old, other than, I'll just say this. He doesn't deserve to vote because if you're not willing to do that one little thing to make
Amen.
everything. So,
I'm with you.
God bless Donald Trump. God bless America. And God bless the Democrats, too, because I'm not belittling the Democrats. I'm belittling the people that just spoke in Congress, that lady.
Yep, absolutely.
She sounded ridiculous. Thank you, man. Y'all keep up the great work.
Hey, appreciate you, Carl. I got a text here from 4886 said my son works the door downtown on Broadway at Whiskey Bent. Are the Democrats saying he shouldn't have to card people because it's a burden for them to have ID? I think that's exactly what they're saying. It's 9:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Inflation for June is down from May, but still not where the Fed wants it to cut interest rates. It was 3% last month for a third consecutive monthly decline, but it's ticking down slowly. Election 2024, all ears and eyes on President Biden's first solo press conference in 8 months, scheduled for 4:30 Middle Tennessee time this afternoon, seen as a way to measure whether he can recover from all the chatter about needing to drop out of the race because he can't beat Donald Trump. ABC's political director Rick Klein has the latest Washington Post Ipsos poll.
This is a dead heat of a race. In the 2 weeks of the debate, so much has changed, but the horse race truly hasn't. Donald Trump up a single point, well within the margin of error. For contrast, back in April, he led by 2 points. We're basically where we've been all along.
By the way, Biden's press conference can be heard live in its entirety right here, starting at 4:30 Middle Tennessee time on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Channel 4 says former President Trump's been announced as a speaker at the upcoming Bitcoin conference in Nashville in 2 weeks. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Dems are in, the Dems are out, the Dems will support the nominee. It's been a wild, wild couple of weeks for Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. And you love to see it. Dems ditching Biden. There's new reports that the Biden campaign has been demoralized. Oh, I love it. I love it. They're demoralized following damaging leaks. The Biden world is in full-on damage control. Biden campaign staffers are battling low morale and disillusionment. Oh no. That's what they're dealing with because of leaks. Leaks that include Biden weighing, dropping out of the race. Leaks that include the president's nap schedule. Staffers supporting Vice President Kamala Harris over Joe. Aides attacking Biden's character. The fact that former President Barack Obama has concerns about Biden's political viability. Biden skipping a 2022 meeting with the German chancellor to sleep, sending Secretary of State Antony Blinken there instead. All these leaks. The White House denies all of them, for the record. They deny the authenticity, but it's like one of those things. The rumor doesn't go away. Well, it's probably true. It's probably true. And some staffers are blaming the media. They're blaming the media. What? I thought you guys were BFFs forever. But they are. They're blaming the media for cherry-picking quotes from dissatisfied junior staffers who allegedly do not reflect the broader sentiment from the campaign about Biden's health. That's what Playbook reported. Biden's performance, however, only confirmed observations that reporters ignored his decline for years, according to Axios' Jim Van de Hey and Mike Allen, who are thought to be leaders in establishment media. And now they got to restore confidence in the campaign. That's the move. So senior staffers asked Governor Gavin Newsom to give staffers a speech to talk Biden up, bring in the pep. And he said, I plead with you. Worry less. Do the work. That's what Newsom said, according to a video leaked to Axios. He also said, there's never been a president in our lifetime, I don't know if there ever will be again, that's delivered more than President Biden. It's just a fact. Do these people really believe themselves when they talk? Does Gavin Newsom really believe the words that are coming out of their mouth? I don't think they do. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Eric wants to talk about the election. What's up, Eric? Yo, Eric.
Hey, guys.
What's up, man?
I kind of want to talk more about what the citizens can do for themselves in the future because the government hasn't been doing it. I'm not trying to diminish the importance of the election at all. It's a very important election. We need a big win this fall. But the American citizens need to get to a point where we can set aside all of the hot-button issues that the politicians have not so much crafted, but propagandized to keep us divided and unite around the things that we actually do all agree on, like term limits for Congress and salary caps for Congress, possibly a change to the structure of the presidency somewhat so that we don't have people in office for 40, 50, 60 years. Making a career of being so-called public servants and becoming multimillionaires off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can agree on that, and I think a lot of people on the left can agree on that too. It's just how do you bridge that gap and start the conversation?
I've talked to a lot of people in the last year from various political backgrounds, and you know, if you put aside the issues that are constantly in the news, I haven't spoken to a single person who doesn't agree that we need some change to. I think everybody. I think everybody can agree we need some change, but like I have some like non-negotiables when it comes to the left. Like, do you understand that the media has been lying to you? You know, with this voter ID thing, that they don't want you to have to prove you're a citizen to register to vote. But these are the same people that wanted you to have your vaccine papers to go into a restaurant. Oh, I know. Like
I don't
propagandizing issues to keep us divided.
I don't think that's propagandizing issues. I mean, I think that happened in real time. We all witnessed it. I mean, they kicked a 6-year-old kid out of a pizza place in New York because he didn't have his vaccine He didn't have his vaccine passport. Like that's that's like really tangible stuff that happened. I don't necessarily view that as propagandized issues. And I don't know if I want to get along with somebody on the left at this point.
I think, I mean, if we don't get along, we're never going to be able to exercise our power under the Constitution, because we, as citizens, were given powers under the Constitution.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at these poll numbers, we're going to get Trump in there. We're going to have the Congress. We're going to have we're going to have the House. We're going to have the Senate. Like, we're going to have the Supreme Court. We're going to be able to do a lot of things. I think we just need to keep our foot on the gas and say, screw all the naysayers and the detractors and people that want to call us names, and we just keep going. Put our head down and bully our way through this.
Yeah, but I don't think that there's a single elected official in Washington, D.C. who will actually impose the kind of limits on themselves that I'm talking about imposing as citizens through a convention of the states.
I mean, I think we have some good ones. Like, I think Massey's good. I like Burchett. You know, I do think that there are some gems in there. But you're right. I mean, these are the same people that vote for themselves to get raises. You know,
exactly. Ocasio-Cortez ran on the platform of salary caps for Congress, and the first bill she introduced was a raise for Congress.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. I appreciate the call, Eric. Call anytime. You know, the polling numbers are terrible for the left right now, and the Democrats are abandoning ship for Joe Biden left and right. And I think a lot of it comes down to the poll data. The polling data for the left is so bad. Biden is so down. He does look like he's poised to lose the Senate currently if the election was held today. Yep. Yep. It's over, says the poll analyst from CNN. And I've heard this guy a couple times, and I don't know why. I think he sounds downright gleeful when he's delivering this bad news to the CNN. Maybe the CNN audience, maybe he's one of us. But the poll numbers are so bad, and if Biden's not doing well, then nobody's going to do well, because the current year is 2024. And nobody is voting split ticket anymore. Nobody. Those are pretty clear numbers, he says. Pretty clear numbers. I think we can all understand the numbers are pretty clear. And this is why we have the panic on the left currently. Because it's not just about the presidency. It's going to be about the House and the Senate. And then we have the Supreme Court. Panic in D.C. This is why these rats are fleeing the ship. That's why they're fleeing. It's unbelievable. Chuck Schumer said yesterday he's with Joe. Today there's a news story out that he could be open to supporting another candidate. I mean, it was just yesterday that Chuck Schumer said he's with Joe. Yet late last night, new reporting came out. Chuck Schumer's open to ditching Biden for a new candidate. Even though yesterday he said three different times, I'm with Joe, I'm with Joe, I'm with Joe. Senator Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader, is now open to a new presidential candidate to lead the Democratic Party ticket. Because the fallout from that debate has been so bad. I honestly could have never imagined in 100 years that we'd be 2 weeks removed from this debate and we'd still be talking about it. And it would still be the biggest news story in America, to the point where we're now eagerly awaiting a press conference from the resident today, this afternoon, which is, they're saying 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 our time, primetime press conference. They're still dealing with the fallout. They're still panicking. And it's not just Chuck Schumer. There's a lot more, and we'll get to it on the way. Hang out with us. It's 9:51 right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You always hear me telling you about becoming a Beehive Club member. I'm a Beehive Club member, and one of the things they do when you're a Beehive Club member, you get texts, and the texts say, hey, it's time for your annual maintenance. And I ignored the texts. I pushed them off until a problem popped up, and I had to call them to come fix my AC. And this is one of the things why you need to get your annual maintenance, because it's hot out here. Your AC is working harder than it has all year long, and it's going to be working harder as we proceed into July and August. So if your AC is not working at maximum peak efficiency, you're going to find out the hard way, or you should get the preventative maintenance done. Now, when I had my problem pop up, again, I'm a Beehive Club member, so I had front of the line service. They were at my home in less than an hour, and they fixed my AC that day. They can do the exact same thing for you if you're a Beehive Club member. You get 3 annual tune-ups, 1 for your heating, 1 for your cooling, 1 for your plumbing, 10% discount on repairs, priority front of the line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. All that for only $99. But get this, in the month of July, all month long, when you buy a Beehive Club membership, you get one for your neighbor for free. Yep. If you buy a Beehive Club membership for $99 during the month of July, you can give one to your neighbors for free. It's an amazing deal, and it's only from our friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Busy Bee's your Root Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Just call Busy Bee, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Still got that crash in Rutherford County, 72-minute delay going westbound right there at Epps Mill Road. Of course, it's 24 westbound. Where else are crashes these days? New inflation report. What is costing us so much more? New 2024 election polling with calls for President Biden to drop out. New data finds most subscription services share one thing in common, and it's not good for us. At 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. Looking forward to that. Listen, the polls are so bad for Joe Biden and the Democrats currently that intelligence officials are dusting off an old classic. Intelligence officials are actually claiming Russia is trying to influence the 2024 elections in favor of Trump.
Obviously.
Senior U.S. intelligence officials have decided to weigh in on the 2024 presidential election, warning that Russia is seeking to influence the outcome on behalf of former President Trump. The warning comes as conveniently as it could while Joe Biden is struggling to unite the party behind his candidacy after a disastrous debate performance. You know, he can't complete sentences. So they're already laying the groundwork to say it was Russia that did it. Isn't that amazing? One thing that you can say about the intelligence agencies is like, they know how to play the hits. You know what I mean? They're not trying anything new. They're just going to play the hits.
They know the clickbaity titles that'll pull people in.
It got me. And according to the Wall Street Journal, Russia was seeking to influence specific voting groups, including those in swing states.
Oh, no.
We can't keep letting them get away with this. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. That is an hour and a half delay now. Westbound 24, there just south of Murfreesboro. Looks like a crash reported, and the stop and go starts right there from the Hoover Gap Road overpass. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Inflation for June is down from May, but still not where the Fed wants it to cut interest rates. Alexis Christoforous says it was 3% last month, a third consecutive monthly decline.
The one thing that we are spending a lot on and continue to spend a lot on is motor vehicle insurance, up 20% year over year, and rent. Shelter continues to hit us in the wallet, up more than 5%. It's starting to come down, but inflation has remained sticky.
Election 2024, ABC's political director Rick Klein has the latest Washington Post Ipsos polling with all the chatter about President Biden needing to drop out of the race.
This is a dead heat of a race. In the 2 weeks of the debate, so much has changed, but the horse race truly hasn't. Donald Trump up a single point, well within the margin of error. For contrast, back in April, he led by 2 points. We're basically where we've been all along.
Meanwhile, all ears and eyes on President Biden's first solo press conference in 8 months, scheduled for 4:30 Middle Tennessee time this afternoon. Hear it live right here. Matt Murphy in for Brian Wilson on The Drive. We'll have immediate analysis. And new data finds most subscription services share one thing in common, and it's not great for the consumer. Mike Dubusky explains.
The International Consumer Protection and Enforcement Network finds that 76% of websites include at least one dark pattern. Dark patterns are design choices that subtly compel a user to make a decision that's not in their best interest. Things like not being able to easily opt out of an automatically renewing subscription service, or including confusing language in data privacy policies.
The report surveyed 642 subscription-based websites and mobile apps, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
his issue is not a one-off cognitive test. His issue is that he's super old. He is an obvious decline from when he ran in 2020 and from when he served as vice president. And no test is going to reverse what we've seen. The reason he's having so much trouble with all this is because he spent his entire career getting used to his own largely fabricated personal narrative being successfully covered up. This is disorienting for him. This is the first time in his life that his personal narrative is not being covered up, either by Democrats or by media looking the other way. This is the first time we've seen on full display the truth of Joe Biden. They have covered this up for so long, and it's a scandal.
It's a scandal. That's Scott Jennings on CNN last night. My favorite part of that clip, and I'll retweet it so that way you guys can find it on my Twitter, @ChrisHandOnAir. My favorite part about that clip is Anna Navarro from The View is sitting there on that panel, and the look on her face while Scott Jennings is telling the truth is amazing. And she's supposed to be a Republican.
Yeah.
He's not saying anything pro-Trump. We know how she feels about Trump. He's saying the truth about Biden. And people are being exposed.
And I love in the background of that clip, you can hear him going, Scott. Don't stop talking.
Scott, it's too much. Scott, you're giving these people too much to think.
Yeah.
You're over-serving them, Scott. But Dems are fleeing the ship, you guys. It's unbelievable. Tim Kaine, remember Tim Kaine? Failed vice presidential nominee for Hillary Clinton. He was asked about Joe Biden and what he thinks that he should do when it comes to the presidential race.
I have complete confidence that Joe Biden will do the patriotic thing for the country, and he's going to make that decision. He's never disappointed me. He's always put patriotism and the country ahead of himself, and I'm going to respect the decision he makes.
I'm going to respect I'm going to respect the decision he makes. He's going to do the patriotic thing. What is the patriotic thing, Tim? Are you saying that Biden should step aside? He sounds very non-committal, right? He says Joe Biden always puts the country first. What Joe Biden are you talking about?
It almost sounds like he's saying it just to get out of the interview. It's like, okay, this is the buzzword to get you off of my back so I can move on to something else.
It's unreal. It's unreal. And there's new reports this morning that Joe Biden is being plotted against behind the scenes, and it's by Barack Obama.
I'll say one thing that we do have to underline here, just so viewers can follow what's going on behind the scenes, is the Biden campaign and many Democratic officials do believe that Barack Obama is quietly working behind the scenes to orchestrate this.
Quietly working behind the scenes to orchestrate this. Doesn't shock you. Doesn't shock me. I mean, Barack Obama wants power, right? And if you have Joe Biden as the candidate, well, that's it's not gonna fly. Chuck Todd of NBC, he has a podcast, the Chuck Toddcast. It's a terrible name, but he says with everything going on about Biden, it makes him rethink a lot of the Biden biography.
And it has made me want to rethink a lot of the Biden biography. I still can't believe he ran for president in the first place, given that his family was in crisis in 2018. You look at what has happened. I can't believe he put his family through this. And now looking at his behavior now in clinging to this, I think the entire narrative on Joe Biden is going to change, in that he's always been, everything has been about his ambition. And his ambition comes first.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of agree with Chuck Todd that you're going to rethink everything about Joe Biden, at least if you're a member of the left and you believe in the lies. But you can't believe that Joe Biden ran for president while his family was in crisis. Joe Biden doesn't care about his family. His family doesn't care about him. If they did, Joe Biden would have him on a beach somewhere. This is shocking news to Chuck Todd. Shocking news. And we have so many elected officials calling for Biden to step aside. Rep. Angie Craig, Rep. Lloyd Doggett, Rep. Seth Moulton, Mike Quigley, Mikey Sherrill, Adam Smith. Jerry Nadler said it in a private call and then he pulled back. Rep. Joe Morrell said it in a private call. Other Democrats calling for Joe Biden to step aside: James Carville, Netflix founder Reed Hastings, the Walmart heiress Christy Walton, Lawrence Lessig, George Clooney. Dan Goldman was confronted in the hallway the other day, and he was asked about George Clooney. This happened yesterday in D.C.
George Clooney is calling for President Biden to drop out of the race. He does not think that Democrats can win with him on the ticket. He also expressed major concerns about his mental fitness. What is your reaction to that?
I appreciate hearing Mr. Clooney's opinion, and we'll continue to deal with this within our Democratic family to make sure that we beat Donald Trump and protect democracy in the future.
Do you think people close to President Biden are being honest about his mental state?
I gave you my answer. But thanks, George. I mean, I don't care what these celebrities think, but the left does, and there's a lot of celebrities. It's George Clooney, Rob Reiner, Jon Stewart, Stephen King, Michael Moore. They're all calling for Biden to step aside. The newspapers are calling for him to step aside. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution editorial board, the New York Times editorial board, the left-wing New York Times opinion columnists, Nicholas Kristof, Tom Friedman, Paul Krugman, Frank Bruni, David French, The Atlantic, Boston Globe's editorial board, the New Yorker's editorial board, multiple people on CNN, George Stephanopoulos. It's unbelievable. And, Nancy Pelosi's out there calling for cognitive tests of both clients, calling for soul searching. The Washington Post editorial board wants them to, really, really dig deep and figure out what's going on. Democrat donors are pausing their donations. We talked about Abigail Disney, the heiress to the Disney fortune. She's withholding. Nancy Pelosi was confronted in the hallway yesterday as well. And Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to make hallway comments on Joe Biden.
Do you believe that him waiting so long to make this decision?
I'm not going to make any comments in the hallway about the fate of our nation. Okay?
Are you concerned whether or not he can win in November?
I think he can.
Do you believe he should run for re-election?
I'm not speaking English to you.
Whoa.
I'm not.
Did you hear that? All right, so just for reference, the reporter asking Nancy the questions is black. Is it racist for Nancy Pelosi to ask the reporter if she's speaking English?
I'm not speaking English to you.
Is that racist?
I'm not going to be making any statements about any of that right now in the hallway.
Can't make statements in the hallway. Am I speaking English? It's so fun to watch. And they're all out there trying to cover for Biden. Either you're against him or you're covering for him. Chris Coons is the latter. Biden campaign co-chair Chris Coons, the guy who let Biden sniff his daughter's hair and he still carries water for Biden. I feel like I have to bring that up every time Chris Coons comes up, because how could you let a grown man sniff your kid and then still support him? It's on video. That poor girl looked horrified. I can never get over that. And Chris Coons doesn't seem to have a problem with it, because he's still out there yesterday defending Joe Biden on CNN.
What are you telling him about what you're hearing from your fellow senators?
That a lot of my colleagues have expressed concerns that they needed to see him go out and campaign, do a long form interview, do an unstructured press conference. But I have said to my colleagues, remember who Joe Biden is. We can't set a bar so high that who Joe Biden's been for 30 years can't clear it. He's always had a slight stutter.
He's always had a slight stutter, you guys. That's Senator Chris Coons, the guy who lets Biden sniff his daughter's hair and then still carries water for him. He also said Joe Biden doesn't get the recognition and credit for how well he is doing.
He had a great campaign rally in North Carolina right after the debate. He gave a great speech at the Mount Airy Church in Philadelphia last Sunday. He's not getting the recognition and credit for how well he is doing out on the stump.
He's not getting the recognition and credit for how well he is doing. Now, is this relative? Is he not getting the credit that he deserves for an old man with dementia? Because if we're operating from the standpoint that he's an old man with dementia and memory issues, he's doing great. He's knocking it out of the park. But if this is supposed to be the leader of the free world, how can you go out there and say he's doing great? He brings up the black church, but you watch the video of Joe Biden at the black church, which nobody that watches CNN probably watched that video. CNN certainly didn't air it. But Biden is sitting there just lost the entire time. He's doing great. You know, for a guy with dementia. But he doesn't think we should set the stakes too high for today's press conference.
When you look at the numbers, he's done 36 news conferences to date since he's been in office. That's not as many as his predecessors had done. Trump had done 64 by this point, Obama 72, Bush 82. But he is going to be speaking tomorrow. Yeah. How high do you think the stakes are for that press conference tomorrow?
Look, I don't think we should set the stakes too high. I think we should be looking at how he's doing at the event today with the AFL-CIO. Speaking to, obviously, a supportive group. They endorsed him, but unscripted, no teleprompters. I hope he does well. I expect he'll do well in the press conference tomorrow.
But don't set the stakes too high. I hope he does well. I expect he'll do well. Well, there's not going to be any teleprompters, he says. Well, you know, we'll wait and see on that. But yesterday, during the NATO remarks that he was making, Biden is reading directly from a script in front of him, and he's looking down the entire time. And anytime he looks away from that script, he gets lost. Literally, anytime he looks away, he gets lost. This is him reading directly from his script to NATO members yesterday.
The allies in this room not only share a common language, don't share a common language, we do not share a common border, but we are neighbors. We're neighbors.
Every time he looked up to look at the crowd, he gets distracted and he loses his train of thought. And you can hear it. You can hear it in this clip because he can't finish this. He looks up mid-sentence and he loses it.
The allies in this room
looks up,
not only share a common language,
looks up,
don't share a common language. We do not share a common border, but we are neighbors. We're neighbors.
We're neighbors. We're neighbors. That's Joe Biden yesterday speaking to NATO members. And I know, reading scripts is hard.
President Truman said, quote, "We hope to create a shield against aggression, the fear of aggression, and to permit us to get on with the real business of creating a government and society."
Doing a great job reading from a script. It's hard. It's hard, but Biden wanted to send a clear message to the world yesterday.
And that we're investing in our future strength to ensure NATO will always be ready for whatever threats we will face should be a clear message we're making to sending to the world.
Was that a clear enough message to the world for you? Reading directly from a script, staring down at his podium the entire time.
For whatever threats we will face should be a clear message we're making to sending to the world.
Is that clear enough? Our enemies must be licking their chops around the world with this guy in power. They must be licking their chops. He loses his train of thought every single time he looks away from his script for even a second.
The fact is that so many of my let me put it this way. I'm very pleased that today
he looks up for 2 seconds and it's like, so many, hold on. And then he got to find his place again.
So many of my let me put it this way.
Finds his place.
I'm very pleased that today all NATO members are making the pledge to expand our industrial base.
Yep. The Dems aren't sending their best. Mike in Nashville has an idea on what the Democrats are planning. What's up, Mike?
How are you? Thanks for letting me on.
Absolutely, man.
They've been doing this since 2016 when they rigged the primary against Bernie Sanders, and that came out. 2020, nobody ran really against Biden. That was decided very early, again, negotiated with the Bernie Sanders branch of the party. This time, there was no primary. All of this is contrived, and all of this is to make it look like there's a crisis because they're going to replace him with a brokered convention to get who they want. They're not interested in a primary to get the people to decide who they want. And so they're running all this like it's a big deal, and they're surprised and shocked, and this is part of their plan all along. if Biden wins the election, people are going to know that's not on the up and up.
Yep.
They can replace him, which they plan to do, and that person win. It can be, well, there's nothing rigged about this election. This is what the people want. So I just think it's fitting into their narrative exactly the way they've planned it.
Hey, maybe so. You make good points, Mike. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Jeff in Hendersonville. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, good morning. Hey, so it's so obvious that every time that the Democrats try and trot out a new clip or a press conference, I mean, Biden's just obviously falling on his face. We've seen it for over 4 years now. So now there's all this high volume up on Plan 2025. Now, as a Trump voter, apparently I'm supposed to be totally fluent in this. I have no idea what it is. Could you maybe clue me in a little bit?
Yeah, Project 2025 was done by, I think it was the Heritage Foundation. It doesn't have anything really, according to, Trump said he agrees with some of it. He doesn't agree with some of it. He doesn't know much about it. I haven't looked into it.
I have Democrat friends. I have Democrat friends that are absolutely, this is all over their Facebook. I mean, it's the talking point of the week. We'll get another one probably by Friday.
Yep.
And look,
I mean, it's currently on the ticker on CNN. I mean, if you want to know Trump's plan, the RNC adopted it yesterday. We covered it yesterday. Look at Agenda 47. Right. Like, he puts his stuff out there. He's not shying away from it. But the Project 2025 is not Trump's.
Well, the attempted smoke screens and octopus think is just getting ridiculous, man. This is the United States. We're better than this, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jeff. I appreciate your call.
Have a good one.
You too, man. It's 10:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
All right, we got a 93-minute delay westbound 24 through Rutherford County. Police activity blocking the left lane. It is going to be stop-and-go traffic starting at the Hoover Gap Road overpass. Looks like this police activity right there just past Epps Mill Road. Again, a 93-minute delay westbound 24 there just to the south of Murfreesboro. Got all the day's top stories coming up at 10:30. Inflation report. And we have lost another entertainer. Details coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 10:26 on Super Talk. My name's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram. That's where I'm posting my memes. At Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. DNC Chair Jamie Harrison says there's no doubt whatsoever that crooked Joe Biden will be the Dems nominee.
Is there any doubt in your mind that President Biden should be the Democratic nominee for president?
No doubt whatsoever, Willie. Listen, 14 million people in 50 states, in our 5 territories, in D.C., and our Democrats abroad went to the polls, did caucuses, and voted for Joe Biden to be our nominee. So without any hesitation, equivocation, I am saying Joe Biden, who has over 90% of the delegates to the DNC convention, is the nominee for our party.
Yeah, all right, I can get behind that. Conservatives for Biden. We want Biden to be the nominee. We want that. I'm not as confident that he's going to be as the DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, but I think he's faking some of that confidence, and he's still pretty upset about the debate and how bad it was.
This is the thing that folks have to understand. Why do you vote for a president? Do you vote for a president because of their age? Do you vote for them because they debate well? Hell, if debating well was the real key to winning elected office, I'd be a U.S. Senator right now because I dragged Lindsey Graham's behind across that debate stage. This is the thing that...
Debates aren't important, says DNC Chair Jamie Harrison. It's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, but it's wild because, sorry about that, even Biden campaign co-chair Gretchen Whitmer thinks it's bad for Biden and says it wouldn't hurt for him to take a cognitive exam.
Should he, as some people have suggested, just go ahead and take a cognitive test and demand that Donald Trump do the same?
I don't think that'd hurt, to be honest, but at the end of the day,
So you think that he should take a cognitive test?
I don't think it would hurt.
I don't think it would hurt. Well, it depends on who it's hurting. It would absolutely hurt Biden. I would feel for the doctors in the room having to administer said test. But yeah, that would hurt him. That would hurt him. And everything about his presidency will hurt him. You look at what we're dealing with under Joe Biden, mental acuity aside. The average family's lost $27,000 under Joe Biden. We're paying over $4,000 more on energy, over $3,000 more on food, almost $5,000 more on shelter, almost $10,000 more on transportation because of inflation under this president. And it's not him running the White House. It's not. And everybody looks to the left, looks to the right, and says, we got to do something because it's bad out here. Governor J.B. Pritzker got caught on a hot mic saying, I don't like where we are. Pritzker's out of Illinois, in case you're keeping score at home.
We're just going to keep fighting. I don't know what to say. I gotta do what we have to do. I don't like where we are, but...
We reached out to the governor's office and shared that I don't like where we are clip to find out what that was all about. A spokesperson told us, quote, sounds like he was talking about the state of the presidential race.
Yeah, I don't think the Democrats like where they are in the state of the presidential race either. Spoiler alert. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. That is a 45-minute delay now, 24 westbound just south of Murfreesboro. Police activity blocking the left lane there of the interstate. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. ABC News is reporting that the Republican effort to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in inherent contempt has failed in the House. Analysts say the new inflation numbers could help the Fed decide to start lowering interest rates later this year. June came in at 3% year over year, lower than expected. All ears and eyes will be on President Biden's solo news conference today live. You'll hear it here, scheduled to start at 4:30 Middle Tennessee time, with Matt Murphy filling in for Brian Wilson on The Drive. And in entertainment news, the actress known for this iconic movie scene.
Give me the bat. Stop swinging the bat. Give me the bat. Wendy.
Shelley Duvall, best known for playing Wendy in The Shining, has died in her sleep of complications from diabetes at her home in Texas. She was 75. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, here for my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know Paul. He hosts the Investor Coaching Show here every Saturday from 3 to 6. You can learn a lot by listening to Paul, but you'll learn even more by talking to Paul. Take it from me, my personal experience, I would listen to the show and I would learn from it. But when I got my show here, I was like, yeah, I want to work with Paul. And once I started talking to Paul and discussing things with him, I've learned so much more. Not just about the financial world, but about Paul himself. Do you know that he started that show after he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize? That's where he gets his data, his research from. That's pretty cool. And he's an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. So my wife and I, we love working with Paul. My wife really loves Paul, and she loves how he can bring his investment advice back to the Bible. She loves that. I love it too. It's super cool to talk to Paul and hear that. You should talk to Paul. When I got here, this was the firm I wanted to work with, and it's because Paul's team hold themselves the highest level of fiduciary status. Paul wants me to tell you I get paid to do these commercials, and I do. That's the truth. I like the transparency, but that's not why I'm a client of Paul's. I'm a client of Paul's because I trust Paul's team. I like that they don't do anything on commission. I like that they'll educate you so you don't get that uneasy feeling of blind trust, and they'll look at your whole financial picture first and then help you make some decisions. But it starts by setting up a 15-minute phone call, and do that today. Even if you already have another financial advisor, do it today. Go to paulwinkler.com, set up your phone call, paulwinkler.com.
Hey, what's up, guys?
It's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
10:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. All right, so the House GOP has failed to hold Merrick Garland in inherent contempt of Congress. They failed. 204 to 210. 4 Republicans voted against it. 206 Democrats voted against it. Awesome. I'm waiting to see which four Republicans voted against that, because those guys need to be out. Merrick Garland won't release the audio tapes from the interview with Biden and special counsel Robert Hur. These were subpoenaed. Merrick Garland defied the subpoena. The House GOP wanted to fine him $10,000 a day until he released the tapes, and they didn't get it done. They didn't get it done. Oh, there's no audio on that. I thought there was going to be at least a little gavel bang. There wasn't any gavel bang. The Republicans failing. Classic, right? The RNC is coming up starting Monday. Our friend Savannah Hernandez is going to be down there, and she's going to be checking in with us while she's there. Donald Trump was on Brian Kilmeade's show, and he was asked if they would have Nikki Haley there. There's been a lot of talks that Nikki Haley isn't going to be there. I'm not sure where Kilmeade got his information, because the last I heard it was that Nikki Haley wouldn't be speaking at the RNC, not that she wasn't invited. But I digress.
Just looking at Nikki Haley yesterday, she said, I recommend all my delegates go to President Trump. And they said, are you going to the Republican convention? And she says, I have not been invited. From your understanding, have you not invited her, and would you want to invite her? Is that an oversight or intentional?
Well, I'll take a look at that. I mean, I have heard that this morning, so I'll take a look at that.
I'll take a look at that, he said. Again, the original thing I heard was that Nikki Haley wanted to speak and she wasn't invited to speak, but they're saying that she's not invited at all. And Trump's non-committal, saying that he wants Nikki Haley there or doesn't want her there, but he goes on to say, listen, there's bad blood between him and Nikki Haley.
So you would like to see her go?
I don't know. I'm going to take a look at it. I want to see. I know she gave her delegates over. There was a lot of bad blood there. She stayed too long. She was being soundly defeated at every place, but she just wouldn't leave. And so we had to continue onward for 2 extra months, which was ridiculous. And she was doing badly. She was losing badly. But, her mistake was she continued on. She just, keep going. I had that the first time, too. I had a gentleman from Ohio continued on. He just wouldn't, just kept going. He wasn't getting anything. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't getting any votes, but he continued on. There's a time to which you leave.
I wonder if Joe Biden is dealing with the same internal madness that Nikki Haley was dealing with at the time of the campaign during Iowa, where it's like, listen, you're not going to win. You should just drop out. She's like, I'm not going anywhere. Joe's probably dealing with the same thing. But Trump says, listen, even Ron DeSantis knew better than Haley, and Ron actually came in second in Iowa.
Ron DeSantis left right after Iowa. She should have left right after Iowa. She came in third. She didn't come in second. Ron came in second. But he left after Iowa because he said there was no way he could win.
So you're still a little angry that she stayed in so long.
Third. There was no way. So I just say this. I wish she didn't stay so long.
I wish she didn't stay so long. No, and I think it was useless. They were just raising money. And Kilmeade, I don't know. You tell me how you feel about Brian Kilmeade. Sometimes I just feel like he's kind of like a shill. Other times I'm like, he's okay, but like I never get higher than okay with Brian Kilmeade. But he asked Trump, and I think this is a dumb question, but hey, he says, do you think Haley can help you with moderates?
Do you think she helps you with moderates? That she had a group of people that maybe are hard for you to get?
No, they're not going to vote for Biden. Biden is a low IQ president.
Is Nikki Haley going to help you with moderates? No. Biden's a low IQ president. Yeah, I mean, that checks out. I don't think Nikki Haley is going to help Donald Trump. Nikki Haley endorsing Donald Trump doesn't help Donald Trump. Donald Trump is solid. Nikki Haley's trying to stay politically relevant. That's what Nikki Haley's trying to do. Because this new Republican Party wants nothing to do with that old guard of Republican. Nikki Haley, no, Nope. Not for me. Not for me. But does she help with moderates? No, she doesn't, because Joe Biden is a low IQ president. And everybody understands this now after the debate on Thursday. John Kirby was on with Martha McCallum, and he was asked about Joe Biden and his mental state. And she said, Pelosi's out there saying that Biden will make the decision, but hasn't he already made his decision? Because Nancy Pelosi says, oh, whatever decision he makes, we'll stand by him. But hasn't he already made the decision? Yeah. And Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to comment on things in the hallway either. Nancy Pelosi, what a mess. It's an absolute mess for the entire Democrat Party. It's not just these elected officials that are waffling on him. It's his big donors. Big donors. George Clooney out. George Clooney raised $14 million for Biden a few weekends ago. And there's new reporting that George Clooney even reached out to Obama before publishing the New York Times op-ed calling for Biden to step down. Yeah, he reached out to Obama. Now, while Obama did not encourage or advise Clooney what he said, he also didn't object to it, Politico reported, citing people familiar with their exchange. Both men were in attendance at that recent Hollywood fundraiser for Biden's re-election campaign. And they say that the lack of pushback came despite the former president stepping out as one of the first big voices defending Biden following that abysmal debate performance. You remember, Obama went on Twitter almost immediately to cover for Joe in June's debate. But they're saying many of Obama's former aides have emerged as some of Biden's biggest critics, according to Politico. And Clooney referenced the Biden Hollywood fundraiser in his article, saying, but the one battle he cannot win is the fight against time. None of us can. It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe big effing deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate. And I would ask George Clooney, if he were here, well, then what took you so long? You were willing to lie and cover for Joe Biden until it was undeniable to the American public? What a slime ball. What an absolute loser. But that's how all these leftists are. They're fine lying to you as long as you don't know they're lying. It's when they get exposed and they get that egg on their face that they feel like they have to do something. They have to turn against Joe Biden. Trump took aim at George Clooney. He posted this on Truth Social. He said, so now fake movie actor George Clooney, who never came close to making a great movie, is getting into the act. He's turned on Crooked Joe like the rats they both are. What does Clooney know about anything? He uses the Democrat talking point that Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, has saved our democracy. No, Crooked Joe was the one who weaponized law enforcement against his political opponent. He created the most devastating inflation in the history of our country, who embarrassed our nation in Afghanistan, and whose crazy open border policies allowed millions of people to illegally pour into our country, many from prisons and mental institutions. Crooked Joe Biden didn't save our democracy. He brought democracy to its knees. Clooney should get out of politics and get back to television. Movies never really worked for him. Ruthless Trump on Truth Social. And he brings up a point that we haven't talked about as much lately, but the point still stands. The border. The border is a train wreck. The Breitbart has new reporting out that 99% of illegal aliens are living freely across American communities. Roughly 99% of illegal aliens and border crossers are living freely across the United States, as President Joe Biden's Department of Homeland Security monitors fewer than 1.5% of the nation's illegal population, a report states. The federal data was compiled by the National Immigration Center for Enforcement and circulated to several House and Senate Republicans, and it looks at the overall illegal population living in America. It's estimated at nearly 17 million today. I think that is criminally low. You may agree, you may disagree. I think we're closer to 20, 30 million, but I digress. Of those millions of illegal aliens and border crossers in the U.S., according to this report, just about 1.34% are either in Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention or monitored via the Intensive Supervision Appearance Program. Meanwhile, Breitbart News reported last week that roughly 7.4 million border crossers are now on ICE's so-called non-detained docket. And these border crossers, whom the Biden administration is aware of, living throughout the U.S., but who are not in ICE detention. Of those on the non-detained docket, fewer than 2.5% are ISAP monitored. And we don't talk about this enough. The news cycle has gone over to Joe Biden's mental state, but we still have the border wide open. We still have the border wide open. They're still coming in. House Speaker Mike Johnson accused Biden of attempting to mislead Americans regarding illegal immigration, writing 99% of illegal aliens in America are roaming free. Remember, this is the state of our southern border under his leadership. Of the roughly 17 million illegal aliens in the U.S. today, 99% are roaming free, completely unsupervised by the Biden administration. Senator Bill Hagerty said of the statistic, only 1% are even being actively supervised. Only 0.25% are being detained. This is not sustainable. No, and I would push back roughly 17 million. I think we can all agree that it's going to be a little bit higher than that. And then the crime that comes with it. There was a case where a Honduran illegal alien was driving drunk in Alabama. He put a 6-year-old in critical condition. The girl has since died. We see stories like this every day, and it's like becoming wallpaper. It's sad. And the Biden administration, they just keep moving the ball down the field. This is a story you might have missed. Biden's DHS offered temporary amnesty to 4,000 Yemeni nationals to stay in the U.S. Yep. President Joe Biden's Department of Homeland Security has extended and redesignated so-called temporary amnesty to 4,000 Yemeni nationals living in the United States, ensuring that they're not deported and they can hold American jobs. That was announced on Monday. They're just stay. Why not? And if you think the temporary amnesty for Yemenis is bad, it gets even worse. They offered temporary amnesty for 300,000 Haitians in the U.S. Yep. It's also happened last week. Maybe you missed it in the news cycle. The news cycle has been dominated by Joe Biden and his mental acuity, but his Department of Homeland Security is bringing in more newcomers and letting them stay, and they've extended and redesignated a temporary amnesty program to more than 300,000 Haitian nationals living in the United States, ensuring that they are not eligible for deportation and they can hold American jobs. Is this America first? Do you think this is America first? Oh, by the way, there was a Haitian illegal alien in Massachusetts who raped a 15-year-old girl and was then released from that Massachusetts jail on $500 bail. Corey Alvarez, a 26-year-old migrant from Haiti, was arrested and charged in March and indicted with the aggravated rape of a child under 16 years old in Rockland, Massachusetts. According to police, Alvarez was living at a taxpayer-funded migrant shelter when he invited the 15-year-old girl over to his room. The girl told police Alvarez promised to help her open apps on her tablet, but instead, he allegedly raped her as she tried to get him to stop. When he was arrested, he was released from jail on a $500 bail after Plymouth County Superior Court refused to set bail at $25,000 as requested by prosecutors. And this is exactly the type of people that Joe Biden granted temporary amnesty to. And remember, whenever they say temporary, they mean forever. That's what they mean. And we aren't paying enough attention to the border right now because the news cycle is focused on Joe Biden. But these stories keep coming. Keep coming. And the Democrats just hand them more benefits, more cash. In New York City, they're handing out more taxpayer-funded debit cards to over 7,000 illegal aliens. You know, that way they can go out to eat and live a little and enjoy the city. Adams started this debit card for migrants program in February, noting that it would cost about $53 million to provide roughly 500 migrant families with the prepaid cards meant to be only used for food. But the program came even as the study found that 56% of New Yorkers live near the poverty line. Again, is this America first? Now Adams is looking to expand the number of migrants eligible for these debit cards big time. He wants to distribute more than 7,300 debit cards to illegal aliens over the next 6 months. What are we doing? What are we doing? And this is to me, these are bigger stories than what's happening with Joe Biden's mental acuity, because we know exactly what's happening with Joe Biden's mental acuity. We've seen it happening in real time for years now. But these stories are brushed to the side, and the major news networks, they're focusing on Joe and whether or not he'll be replaced. That's a big story, but I don't think that these stories should be swept under the rug. I think these stories are just as important. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, I'm seeing that police activity there, slowing things down 24 westbound just to the east of Murfreesboro, has eased up. The delay is now only 1 minute. Got some police activity there blocking the left lane. Another Republican effort against Attorney General Merrick Garland. We'll tell you how that went. How to hear and see President Biden's first solo news conference in 8 months. New polling with all the chatter that he needs to drop out of the race. And new inflation numbers show what we're spending so much of our hard-earned dollar on at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 10:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So the inherent contempt for Merrick Garland failed. And 4 Republicans voted with the Democrats to strike it down 210 to 206. The 4 Republicans were Reps John Duarte out of California, David Joyce out of Ohio, Michael Turner out of Ohio, who you may remember from Russia space nukes, and Tom McClintock out of California. They voted with Democrats to take down the inherent contempt measure. There were also a number of Republicans absent from the vote. Just didn't even show up. Couldn't make it. I'm trying to track down the list of who was absent, and I hope none of our representatives from Tennessee were absent. But I know some have a history of doing that. I'll keep my eyes peeled, and if I find the list of who was absent, I'll bring it to you as soon as I can. Ken's got more in his newscast. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in our nation's capital, a Republican effort to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in inherent contempt for refusing to turn over audio tapes of Special Counsel Robert Hur's interview with President Joe Biden failed this morning. It sought to fine Garland $10,000 a day until he complied with a congressional subpoena. That effort fell short in the vote, 204 to 210. All ears and eyes on President Biden's solo news conference today, his first news conference in 8 months. Hear it live right here and on all of our Super Talk 99.7 WTN platforms. Set to start at 4:30 Middle Tennessee time this afternoon. Matt Murphy will be in for Brian Wilson on the drive, and we'll have immediate analysis. Meanwhile, ABC's political director Rick Klein has new polling amidst all the chatter about Biden needing to drop out of the race.
The numbers are within the margin of error. They're very small, but we do see Kamala Harris with a small edge over Donald Trump. Again, Biden was down 1. We have Harris up 3. That is a hypothetical matchup. Nothing is happening right now because it could only happen if Biden steps away. We asked Democrats who should run instead if Biden steps aside. The only answer that we saw any significant number for was Kamala Harris. Almost a third of Democrats named Harris.
And now analysts say the new Analysts say the new inflation numbers could help the Fed decide to start lowering interest rates later this year. June came in at 3% year over year, lower than expected, but Alexis Christoforous says prices are still high.
The one thing that we are spending a lot on and continue to spend a lot on is motor vehicle insurance, up 20% year over year, and rent. Shelter continues to hit us in the wallet, up more than 5%. It's starting to come down, but inflation has remained sticky.
Entertainment news about the actress best known for her role in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Shelley Duvall as Wendy Torrance in the famous bat scene with Jack Nicholson there in the movie The Shining. Duvall died in her sleep last night. Complications from diabetes at her home in Texas. She was 75. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I just met Brock from Busy Bee. They're giving him the old tour. Good guy. Good guy. Everybody over at Busy Bee's good guys. And I also got a message from my wife. My 6-year-old was pumping the gas for mom today, so I wanted to say shout out to Brooksy. Way to go, man. We need that. You got to take care of mom. So appreciate you, bud. They're in the car right now, so thank you guys. I also saw a thing. Okay, so there's a rally scheduled for Biden for president, and it's at the Pennsylvania state capitol. There are legislators there, and the rally was set to start at 11 a.m. Eastern, right? 3 people showed up.
Oh no!
Three people. 3 people. It's bad.
That's a personal event. That's not a rally or anything.
It's just a get together. Unbelievable. Well, no, it's believable. Who wants to go to a Biden rally?
Yeah, it's Casual Friday. They all show up in jeans.
It's brutal. It's going viral on Twitter right now. Scheduled start of a Biden for president rally at the PA state capitol with legislatures. There are 3 people here.
Sounds like bingo night with Biden.
I feel like bingo night would have more people. Terrible.
Who knows?
Bingo.
Did you say that just because you wanted to use that hotkey?
Maybe.
All right.
I saw it and I was like,
All right, I'll allow it. Hey, you want some good news? Should we do good news?
I'm here for it. I need it. We're almost to the weekend.
I got you.
Lay it on me.
All right, well, I'm looking at CNN on the TV, and the ticker says, source close to Biden, fundraising efforts, money is drying up. That's pretty good. Money's also drying up for CNN. The CNN boss is announcing layoffs and major changes in a future-proof plan to save the network. Yeah, I mean, you just let that breathe. So yesterday, CNN chief executive Mark Thompson sent a memo to staff informing them that major changes were in the works as part of his plan to future-proof the network. The Post-Millennial has this story. Included in the plan were a new round of layoffs. Isn't that what? Wouldn't you love to get an email from your boss like we have a plan to future-proof the network? Step 1 is going to be massive layoffs.
Really shows for the longevity that they're striving for.
In the future, we're not going to need you guys. So that's step 1. They also say that they're going to be experimenting with artificial intelligence. I feel like they've been using artificial intelligence for decades over at CNN.
Yeah, they're all mindless and just follow what the droning of whoever's in charge is talking about.
And then finally, they say they're going to have an overall shift toward the digital market. They're saying about 100 people are going to lose their jobs. About 3% of the network's total staff.
Jeez.
The areas of the business where the cuts are coming from, not revealed. Not revealed. And he says, turning a great news organization towards the future is not a one-day affair. It happens in stages over time. Today's announcements do not answer every question or seek to solve every challenge we face. However, they do represent a significant step forward, and I hope you will read about them in that spirit. Tell that to the 100 people that are about to lose their jobs. Listen, guys, you may not be able to put food on the table, but I want you to know this is a significant step forward. Thompson said he hopes to use AI to reclaim the pioneering spirit Ted Turner talked about at our founding and regain a leadership position in the news experiences of the future. He declared the network would make a strategic push to determine how to best safely harness this emerging new technology to serve our audience and deliver our journalistic goals more effectively and responsively. Since taking over for former CEO Chris Like in October, Thompson's been facing criticism for not taking enough risks, opting instead to shift existing pieces around instead. And he says, we don't believe news is just politics. He told advertisers that in New York in May, per the New York Post. Business and tech are news, climate and weather are news, health, wellness, and living longer are news. So expect to see us expect to see us build new branded verticals in all these areas on TV, on our apps, and across other platforms. So the layoffs yet to come, they have been announced. This is the future-proofing of CNN. I don't know how CNN can future-proof themselves. Is there any possible way that they can future-proof themselves?
I don't know. I feel like pioneering and journalism involve people. And if you're going to lay all of them off, then you're not. I don't know. You're just going to run yourself in a circle.
I don't know how you can't do news without the human element.
Yeah, it's human-oriented by nature.
A computer is not going to do that.
Yeah. And here's your morning news with ChatGPT. We don't have a picture for you. Well, we do. It's just got the little mouth cut out, so it does the flapping for you, but it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
No. And employees are going to lose their jobs to computers. So that's nice. I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, it's CNN. Nobody likes them, but we feel bad for them. As soon as they are not employees of CNN, then I'll feel bad for them. Because then it's like, oh, yeah, you don't work there anymore. Sorry.
I would just want to see more layoffs. I mean, the establishment media has been covering up Joe Biden's health for years. They've been covering for the Democratic Party for years. And when you see, establishment journalists coming out admitting that essentially they were wrong about Joe Biden's mental state, it's like, yeah, well, you should be fired too. You should be fired too. This week, I played the clip for you earlier. Chuck Todd on his podcast that he's got to reevaluate everything going on in Joe Biden's biography. Politico's Jonathan Martin admitted that high-level Democrats have been saying for years that Joe Biden is in rough mental shape and not up to another term in office. They say Biden's decline was an open secret and a simmering conversation. And only now are these reporters reporting this to the public, right? They were covering it up. Karine Jean-Pierre told us it was cheap fakes. Cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes, yep.
Cheap fakes.
Sean in Lebanon, how do you feel about CNN, my man?
Hey, Chris, and you even added to it while I was on hold. I remember when CNN was actually the go-to news source, and breaking news covered, neutrally covered, and then whenever they decided to shift their policies or their talent or whatever, they're in the hole they dug, and I hope they stay there.
Yeah. I do too. I mean, but they've been garbage for years. If you look back on their coverage of the Gulf War and how they faked some of that stuff, is anybody shocked?
Agreed. And then just what you were talking about now, where the media is coming out against Joe Biden. I'm originally from Chicago, and there used to be two guys, John Daly and Fahey Flynn, that did the news in Chicago. And these were old-time news guys like Walter Cronkite-ish that, suit and tie, and they presented the facts, and you made your own decision.
Yep.
And once they started spinning it, you know what, they can go down the toilet bowl with the tidy bowl, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate the call, Sean. Call anytime, man.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a sad state of affairs for the media in 2024. Sad state of affairs. I'm not shocked that CNN's going to have layoffs. I'm not shocked that the media has been lying to us about Joe Biden for years. The only thing I'm really shocked about is that this didn't happen sooner. I'm shocked that this didn't happen sooner. Adam in Columbia on CNN. You're up next. What's up, Adam?
Hey, Chris. Just thinking about the CNN thing. I'm in business. I'm not in news. But when in my business, if I have a product that's not selling, we quit manufacturing that product and manufacture something different. So if you use that analogy with CNN, the news that they're reporting is not necessarily the news, and it's not what the American people want to hear. So the American people just aren't buying their product anymore. So as long as they keep selling the same product, they can build whatever structure they want to, lay off, hire, whatever. They're just going to continue down the same path to their own destruction. So unless they change their ways, bye-bye CNN.
Yeah, I mean, and they would have to change everything over there. Everything.
Absolutely.
I mean, it would have to be a complete facelift. And even then, I feel like the damage is too far done. They would need a complete rebrand, get rid of those letters, and do something new.
Well, I do think they should rehire the Tater, so we'll have a good talking point every now and then from him. So.
Wait, rehire who?
The Tater, the potato, whatever his name is.
Brian Stelter, yeah. I think he might still be over there. I know Don Lemon's not over there, and I appreciate your call, Adam. Don Lemon actually is doing an interview with Candace Owens, and Candace Owens tweeted out that Don Lemon asked her on his podcast if Don Lemon asked Candace Owens on her podcast if he would call her the F word, which is a slur for homosexuals. She tweeted, "Today I did the Don Lemon podcast, and he straight up asked me if I would ever look him in the face and call him a F word. I never thought he would ask me that question like that so sincerely. These are remarkable times we're living in." I didn't expect myself wanting to watch a Don Lemon podcast, but as Candace Owens said, these are remarkable times we're living in. And I feel like I need to watch it to see what she says. I have to watch it now. She doesn't give the answer on whether or not she said it to him. But these are things I didn't know I needed. And I need the Don Lemon podcast today. Absolutely. The state of the media could not be in more disarray. They're turning on Joe Biden. Their credibility is in the gutter. And we've all seen this happening in real time for years. But now it seems like some leftists are waking up to it as well. Let's go to Chris on the road. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Chris?
Hey, man. Exactly what you just said, getting some leftists to turn. I feel like that is really the only way out at this point because, I work in an extremely woke industry, and I can't tell you how many people still think Biden is the man. They don't see anything wrong with. They're going to vote blue no matter who.
What industry?
And
what industry do you work in? Can I ask?
I work in the entertainment industry remotely, primarily based out of L.A. Hopefully, none of them are listening. But
you're probably safe.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. And I just this is an opportunity, in my opinion, of CNN's going down the toilet, which they have been, as you guys have been talking about for years. But if it's really gotten that bad, how about they start doing something that is productive and just speaking truth? Because when people hear truth, then I think they're going to sway in the more conservative fashion. Even though I vote Republican, I consider myself a conservative, not a Republican. I'm not going to vote red just because. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
And I really am sick and tired of the people that are on the blue side, so to speak. They have got, what do they call that? Trump
derangement syndrome, the TDS.
Derangement syndrome. They call him he lied so much during the debate. Really? Are you sure you're being factual?
Honestly, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm with you. I hear them say that he lied 28 times, but they never explain what the lies were.
Nope, they can't. And when I ask any of them, they're like, "You're not voting for that Nazi, are you?" It's wow, you just can't hear it. I got into it with one guy who I worked with for probably 25, 30 years, tried to keep it without being attacking. He's talking about how Trump's going to destroy democracy. I'm like, hey, just so you know, we're actually not a democracy. We're a republic.
Amen.
And they just oh, man, that means you're voting for that Nazi. It's I never even mentioned the man's name. Why are you going there?
Dude, I mean, I dealt with this too. My wife worked in the record industry for, almost over a decade. I worked in, top 40 music and the music formats. We dealt with this too. All these media industries are so isolated in such an echo chamber. It's insane.
Yep.
And they think that while they drink their Starbucks and they tweet on their iPhone and they watch CNN, that they're fighting against this machine. But it's no, you are cogs in the machine, and you have no idea. You have no idea what you're doing.
Yep. Nope. I completely agree with you. And that's the thing is I love you guys, but so often I feel like you're preaching to the choir. it's not going to change any of the minds that need to be shifted. That's the thing.
Well, and I think the debate gives us an opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
If you can expose one lie, you can get them to question another, and then it's a domino effect. And we saw that happen during COVID, and we have to sink our teeth into this one.
Yeah, my concern is that if they do realize if Biden's going to stay in the race, which personally I hope he does because I think that'll seal the deal, but I'm concerned that they're still going to vote or they're not going to vote rather than go, maybe I need to look at the other guy, you know? But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out in November, right? Hey, I appreciate your call, Chris. Calling in anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Have a
man,
great
of course. It's 11:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. When we get back after the break, Tucker Carlson has a shocking revelation about a member of the Biden administration that you are not going to want to miss. I'll play that for you next. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock store, talking about them like I do every single day because, they're the best. And, well, they also do pay me to do commercials and tell you how much I enjoy going to the Glock store. And I'm happy to do it. It's good work if you can get it. But I don't go to the Glock store because I'm paid to do commercials. I go to the Glock store for selfish reasons. Basically, I want people helping me evaluate and choose my personal firearms to be friendly, professional, and most of all, knowledgeable. And that's exactly what I get at the Glock store. Like, I have questions and they have answers. And they have a whole counter in the back of the store that's dedicated to just answering your questions. It's, if you ever walked into an Apple store and you go up to the Genius Bar and you got the Apple geeks and they're telling you what's what, that's essentially this, except it's gun nerds and it's glorious. They have their own Genius Bar back in the store and I like it. I know you will too. And when I want to practice shooting, to protect myself, my family, my home, I'm doing it now in the Shoot 270 private shooting rooms with a trained professional instructor, not in a lane, by myself, next to who knows who. No. It's totally different at the Glock store. And when I want to practice shooting, it has to be the Shoot 270 private indoor shooting rooms. So really, why would I go anywhere else? Why would you go anywhere else? Stop by the Glock store, talk to the people, check out the shooting rooms, not only because they pay me to tell you about it, but because once you discover the Glock store, it's going to be your new favorite as well. That's the Glock store. It's minutes from the airport, worth the drive from, you guessed it, anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Fine fails. Biden press conference details. Costco membership increase coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so Tucker Carlson has something to say about a member of the Biden administration, but before that, I want to get to Steve in Sparta, who's been waiting on hold real quick. What's up, Steve?
Yeah, just a little bit of food for thought. What I'm really concerned that they're going to play right now. They're playing us. They're going to leave Biden in there, knowing that he's going to lose. And the campaign strategy that I believe that they're going to be taking up, I'm talking about the Democratic Party, is to really pump the public up about putting Democrats in the House and the Senate to contain Trump.
So you think they're going to leave him as the candidate, and that all this is to gas them up for the Senate and the House races?
I believe that I believe that's going to happen.
I mean, I don't know if that's a good play. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, do you split your ticket when you vote?
No, I don't. I don't.
I think a majority of Americans would agree with you, Steve.
I'm just really concerned that leave Biden in there, say he's going to lose, let him lose. But if all of these folks want to contain Trump, then fill the House up and the Senate with Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they leave Biden in there as the candidate, that is going to be an uphill battle to do. And I don't think it's a winning proposition for them. And I think that's why they're panicked behind the scenes, because they look at this as they're going to lose. The Republicans will regain the House, then the Democrats are going to lose the Senate. They're going to lose the presidency, and then we also have the Supreme Court.
Oh yeah, well, again, there if they pull Biden. The next one is Kamala Harris.
Yep, and I've heard polling that says she does a little bit better, but I've also seen the Emerson College polling that says she actually does worse. So I'll take Kamala Harris, absolutely. That would be no problem with me. I worry about some of the other randos that they could pull at the last minute, but we'll see what happens. Okay. We're all gonna find out in real time, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Hey, appreciate your call, Steve. Thanks for listening, man. Tucker Carlson had an accusation against a member of the Biden administration. Listen to this.
Do you remember Pete Buttigieg ran for president? He's supposedly gay, and now he's transportation secretary. And I had one of my producers is gay, and he goes, he's not gay. I was like, are you serious? He goes, no, that's complete bullshit.
Wow.
Oh, no. He goes, and gays all keep very close track of that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And my producer's like, no, it's totally a pose. He was dating women just a few years ago. That's totally fake. Wow. He's not gay at all.
Smart.
So I said that on the air. People got all offended. I thought it was kind of hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
It is hilarious.
Yes.
And you're also like, I'm not against gays. I'm saying he's not one.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
If this is true, is that not the most evil, sinister flex that you can do as a white male in 2024 to assure that you have a job? No, I might be a white male, but did I mention I'm gay? Well, say no more, fam. You have a job in the cabinet. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are headed for what could be the hottest days of the year so far. Tell you about it during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Well, in our nation's capital, that Republican effort to punish Attorney General Merrick Garland for refusing to turn over audio of Special Counsel Robert Hur's interview with President Biden has failed. The vote in the House was 204 to 210. The inherent contempt charge would have cost Garland $10,000 per day until he complied with the subpoenas. President Biden's first solo news conference in 8 months can be heard live on all Super Talk 99.7 WTN platforms today. It's scheduled to start at 4:30 Middle Tennessee time with Matt Murphy in for Brian Wilson on The Drive. And it's soon going to cost more money to get your foot in the door at Costco. The retailer raising membership fees by $5 to $65 a year in the U.S. and Canada. And Costco's premium executive membership is going up by $10 to $130 a year. Now, those members' rewards will also go up by another $250. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. It's 11:32 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I'm still sort of new to WTN. I've been here for a while, but I've been hearing the commercials of USS for years on Super Talk. And I've had the opportunity to meet the guys over at USS, United Structural Systems. And I got to tell you, everything everybody says about these guys is true. They are honest, hardworking, great people, and they're proud of the work they do. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where you have cracks in your bricks and you're worried about foundation issues, or you need some crawl space encapsulation or waterproofing done, there's only one crew to call, and it's USS. They've been doing this work in Middle Tennessee since the 90s, and they have over 25,000 satisfied customers. I'm so confident that you're going to be satisfied with them. You're going to be satisfied customer number 25,001. And they live in Middle Tennessee. They work in Middle Tennessee. They're not going anywhere. You can't say that about the new guys on the block. You can't. But USS, you can be confident that when they leave, you're going to be satisfied. And when they do leave, they're going to leave behind a warranty that is good for life. Even if you leave the home, the warranty stays. That's how confident they are in the work they do at USS. If you have foundation issues, if you need some help in your crawl space or some waterproofing, call my friends at United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems, online at USSTN.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Whoa. ABC doesn't think that. That's just George Stephanopoulos. He's the only one that thinks Biden can't last another term. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, 1138. The Democrats are still in disarray. The panic is palpable. Can you feel it? I can feel it. In fact, they're so panicked that they have resorted to more lies, more smear tactics, and the latest is the dreaded, the scary, the terrifying Project 2025. What is this Project 2025? I've been getting texts all day long. Chris, tell me about Project 2025. See, even conservatives don't know about it because it's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It really goes back to, you can trace this back to a July 5th Facebook post. This is where all the hysteria and the fear is coming from. This July 5th Facebook post by an account called the Liberal Curmudgeon. He put all these slides up. Plans for Trump's second term, Project 2025, national abortion ban, Muslim ban, guns in classrooms, pardon J6 insurrectionists. He's gonna get rid of LGBTQ rights. He's going to allow ICE to conduct raids at schools, churches, hospitals, playgrounds, and other sensitive areas. Yada, yada, yada. More fear, more manipulation by the left. Are you shocked? I'm not shocked. So it goes back to this July 5th Facebook post. Trump has made his authoritarian intentions quite clear with his Project 2025 plan. It received quite a few shares. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody really knows what it is. Nobody really knows where it came from. Because if you look at the Trump website, it's Agenda 47. If you look at the RNC website, they've adopted Trump's plan, 20 points. We went over it yesterday. And they're all common sense and logical and not scary. But Project 2025 is a political playbook that's been created by the Heritage Foundation and dozens of other conservative groups, not Donald Trump. He said he disagrees with some of the elements of the Project 2025 effort, but there are numerous people involved in Project 2025 who worked in Trump's first administration. But it's important to point out the Heritage Foundation has no political power. Let me say it again. The Heritage Foundation has no political power. This is essentially a group of 100 dudes sitting in a room going, what do you think would be the perfect execution of a plan for Trump's second term? And they come up with a list. And then the left sees that list and they Photoshop it up on some graphics, make it look dark, make it look scary, and they post it everywhere. But even liberal outlets are rating this as false. That it's not a Trump plan. This is not a Trump-endorsed plan. This is an idea from a think tank. Period. And the Heritage Foundation, they're a conservative think tank. They collaborated with a bunch of conservative groups for this. They released a 900-page playbook with policy recommendations that the think tank's goal that they think reflects the think tank's goal of rescuing the country from the grip of the radical left. Trump has publicly distanced himself from the effort, and he told the Washington Post, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them. And I was watching CNN last night, and they had all these clips of Trump talking good about the Heritage Foundation while he's at Heritage Foundation events. Shocker, I know. They're saying, see? Trump is in bed with the Heritage Foundation, and they're creating Project 2025. But that's just not the reality of it. Project 2025 on its own has said it does not speak for any candidate or campaign. I'll repeat it. The creators of Project 2025 have said they do not speak for any candidate or campaign. It is a playbook comprised of suggestions the coalition believes will benefit the next conservative president. But it is ultimately up to that president, who we believe will be President Trump, to decide which recommendations to implement. Now, does Project 2025 have Trump allies involved? Yeah. Yeah. Is this the official Trump plan for his second term? No. There's some overlap between Trump's platform and Project 2025's proposals, like calling for into illegal immigration, like calling for mass deportations, to terminate open border policies of the Biden administration. Project 2025 also supports shutting down the Department of Education, which Trump pledged to do in a 2023 campaign video. But this is not Trump's plan. There might be some overlap, but it's not from Donald Trump. I hope that clears things up. 615-737-9986. Project 2025 is not Donald Trump's plan. Is that clear? Is there some overlap? Yes. They're just recommendations. It would be the same if me, Murphy, Mandis, and Wilson sat in a room and came up with a 900-page report saying this is what we think Donald Trump should do in his next term. That would hold the same amount of weight, probably a little bit less. But effectively, it's the same thing. It's a group of guys getting together saying what would benefit the next conservative president. That's it. That's Project 2025. And the media needs to talk about something other than Biden's cognitive decline. So they're grabbing something that's scary, that grabs people's attention, that's easy to remember, and they're going to vomit that all over the news for the next couple months. So get ready for that. But that's the Democrats, and that's the state of the media. Let's go to Dan in Franklin. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Dan?
Hey, Chris, great to talk to you again. You know, we all know that you and your staff and the Project 2025 people and the Heritage Foundation are white supremacists and Christian nationalists that we need to be afraid of because you guys are going to take over the country.
Oh.
It is dangerous.
Yeah, you're fair enough. Fair enough. It's scary.
Okay, second point, and even more important, I was thinking as I was driving back from downtown Nashville that there's these two groups. There's the Democratic leadership and there's the mainstream media.
Yep.
And we need to fuse those two together into the Dem stream media.
Oh, I like that. But we're seeing them butt heads right now. We're seeing the Democrat elite and the mainstream media butt heads right now like we've never seen before.
I don't think so. I actually think that the people at the very top, the top 2 or 3 people, have been planning this for a couple of years. The lower level people are freaking out. The mainstream media, yeah, they're freaking out. But I think the top people have been planning this. And the problem is Jill and Hunter have foiled their plans.
Yep.
I think they've been planning this for a while, and now you've got this political expert, international leader, Hunter Biden, really messing things up, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I appreciate the call, Dan. Thanks so much, man. There's actually a new report that convicted felon Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's acting chief of staff. This is from Breitbart. Convicted felon Hunter Biden is reportedly the acting chief of staff to President Joe Biden, usurping Jeff Zients in that role. The Biden family, which made millions from foreign business deals while Joe Biden was in and out of office, is helping to keep Biden in the race, a source told the Daily Beast on Wednesday. They say his family is standing with him, his wife Jill, his sister Valerie, who Democrats relied upon to provide wise counsel, not just cheerleading. His son, Hunter, has been seen at the White House so much lately that one well-connected lawyer, lobbyist, Democrat dubbed him the acting chief of staff. He's the gatekeeper. He's the one who's bucking up his dad. Hunter is the X factor here, wanting to encourage his father like deceased brother Bo did, and not wanting the stress of his felony convictions to hamper his father. Having Hunter on the scene is not helping Biden politically, but that's not what this is about. A Democrat who worked for Biden earlier in his career says simply, Biden stood by him through all the darkest time. This is more of a family thing than a political thing. It has nothing to do with this criminal case. It's much more about how the family operates. Hunter's joined meetings with Joe Biden and his top aides since the president returned to the White House from Camp David. 4 people familiar with the matter told NBC News on July 2nd. The president's son has been talking to senior White House staff members, these people said. They say he's regularly at the White House residence and events. It's unusual. It is unusual for Hunter Biden to be in and around meetings his father is having with his team, these people said. They said the president's aides were struck by his presence during the discussions. One person familiar with the reaction from some senior White House staff members told NBC News that the quote was, "What the hell is happening?" Hunter's presence was due to the July 4th weekend. That's what Karine Jean-Pierre said. And she didn't say if Hunter met with senior advisors. She said he was in the room at the meetings. And in another irony, Hunter Biden was once involved in schemes to provide access to the White House for his former business partners when his father was vice president during the Obama administration. And now he has that direct access. It's unclear whether Hunter Biden has passed any kind of security check or background check, and it's not clear what kind of meetings he is attending with his father and what sorts of policy decisions are made with him present. But he is present. He's in the room. He's in the room. Wild. Frank in Bethpage, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Frank?
Hey, if I was Hunter, I think I'd want to be moving and pushing for Joe to win the election again myself, because it might help take some pressure off him in his situation.
Yep.
I called also that comment I saw on news. Jen Psaki was saying, well, the United States is too racist and too racist and sexist to vote for, say, Kamala Harris or something like that. It's like, how this gets on the news, it kind of makes me sick, because I vote for a Candace Owens, or it's about their personality, it's about their principles. Candace Owens, Condoleezza Rice, she may be a little, I don't know how old she is now, but folks like that, it's what their principles are and what they're standing for. But to come out with comments like that, and Jen Psaki's white, why, that is racist in itself to come out and make comments like that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I'm with you, Frank.
What I mean.
Yeah.
And you just throwing it out there.
No.
Stir in that pot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I hear you, man. And I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Every
Frank.
day.
Hey, man, you too. We got more Super Talk on the way all day long. Des Dickerson's going to be filling in for Murphy. Murphy's filling in for Wilson, musical chairs. And Murphy's going to be covering that entire Biden news conference live on the air. He's going to Mystery Science 3000 that thing. And he's going to fact check it in real time. I'm going to be listening to Murphy. I'm not going to be watching this thing on CNN. That starts at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 our time. Appointment listening for that one. Appointment listening for that. It's 11:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
More Democrats circling the wagons and pulling their support of President Biden's re-election campaign. And this president, he is scheduled today for his first solo press conference in about 240 days. And another Hollywood actor has passed away. We'll have those stories at noon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So although I wish I were here with better news, the fact is that you and I are sitting here today because this will be your last week of employment. This is not an assessment of your productivity. You gotta try not to take this personally.
Well, I just had a bad night.
That was a meme that Trump posted on Instagram.
Was that George Clooney?
It's George Clooney. He's like sitting at a desk, and they edited in the ABC interview. He's like, it's not your productivity. He's sitting there with his mouth wide open. He says, "This can be your last week of employment."
I thought that was the standard for the CNN firings.
So although I wish I were here with better news, the fact is that you and I are sitting here today because this will be your last week of employment. This is not an assessment of your productivity. You gotta try not to take this personally.
Well, I just had a bad night.
I just had a bad night. Yeah, well, a lot of Dems want him out. A lot of Dems want to keep him. Des Dickerson will have the latest for you. He's filling in for Murphy. Murphy is on the afternoon show for Brian Wilson. He's going to be covering the Big Boy press conference. Are you excited? I'm in it for the memes. I'll be back tomorrow. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.